Yes, we do have a team, but unfortunately I haven't told the players yet because we've got 5 guys, I think, not at training today. So I'm going to have to go back to the hotel, let the boys know before I can let the media know, Pete, unfortunately. But yeah, we selected a team this morning. Sorry, mate.
You had a look at the wicket out there. What were your thoughts on the wicket? Because obviously it's a green top. You perhaps go with 4 quicks, or is that still an option, perhaps?
How do I answer that question? Look, the wicket it certainly was harder today than what it was yesterday. When we turned up yesterday morning, it had just been watered. So the wicket looks pretty good. I think there's a few grass clippings, white grass clippings chucked over the top of some quite green grass. So yeah, I think once if they give it a little cut today, I think that'll probably get rid of the clippings and you'll get a better indication of how much grass is on the wicket tomorrow once the day's play starts. I think it's still a little bit tacky. Kev was probably hoping for a bit more sunshine today, so I'd imagine it'll be a little bit slow tomorrow and then turn out to be a pretty good Gabba wicket.
Knowing that you have the team already chosen, can you tell us how difficult it was to probably nail it down?
It's always difficult, to be honest. Unfortunately, like I've said before, you can't fit 12 into 11, so it's disappointing that someone has to miss. But it's a good problem for us to have as a selection panel when you got to have long conversations about who to leave out. And at the end of the day, like I've said before, it's imperative that we make sure we pick whatever we think is the right combination as an attack to help us win each test match. And for this test match, like I say, yes, we have selected our side, and it is hard on the person that's missing, but we're confident we can take 20 wickets with that attack.
Michael, you're going to have new players within your side. When it comes to test match day, does that matter, the relative inexperience of these players? It's still about how they perform on the track, isn't it?
No doubt. I don't think it matters too much. I think it brings excitement to the start of the test. I've never had any concerns about young guys making their debut and getting their first opportunity. I think, I look back to my debut and it was very special, and I guess a big part of me having success in my first game was the build-up and the excitement about receiving your baggy green cap, having no fear and walking out and I guess backing myself 100%, and that's all I've asked of the guys that we make in their debut tomorrow is to play their way, be confident in their ability, and they don't have to change anything from what they've done with their states to now playing for Australia.
Michael, how tough was selection for this test compared to your previous test, because you didn't really have the balance of Watto in your bowling?
Exactly the same, to be honest. In regards, like I say, to picking your 11 players, it's always tough, especially when you see blokes training their backside off when you're on tour. You see guys improving. You then got to make a call on what you think, like I say, the best 11 players are, who the best 11 players are to take the field to help you win that test match. So, sometimes in regards to an attack, for instance, it's not necessarily the best 4 or 5 bowlers, individual bowlers that you pick. You pick a combination, you pick an attack that you think you can take 20 wickets with.
Michael, yesterday you faced the 3 quicks. Did that enlighten you much, perhaps, just how about decisions today? Did that help your calls?
No, not really. I won't say one net session is the deciding factor. It showed me how good these young quicks are. It showed me how much talent they got, and it showed me how keen they are as well by the pace they were bowling, and weren't afraid to bounce the captain either. So that's good news. But yeah, no, we're certainly not picking the team on a net session yesterday. It was just, whoever batted in my rotation got the 3 young quicks, and that was it. But it was good for me to stand up the other end. There's probably no better place to see how they're going than standing up the other end of them, facing them.
Michael, you said you'll have a better indication of the pitch tomorrow, and you've already picked the side. Is there any chance that you would opt to bowl first?
I need to see what the wicket's like tomorrow, but yeah, I certainly haven't made a decision that if I win the toss I'll bat. I'm still undecided, I guess, there, and that will be determined by what the wicket looks like tomorrow. The wicket has changed definitely from when I seen it yesterday to today in regards to selecting the team. I think we're in a great position to pick the team today, knowing what we're going to get in the wicket. But in regards to the toss, I think tomorrow morning, I think more for me than the pitch is the overhead conditions. I want to assess if the sun's out or if it's overcast. I think that'll have more of an indication on what I do first.
Michael, your reaction to the disappointing news that Mitch Johnson's having surgery out 4 to 5 months, do you think that could seriously
It's obviously disappointing to lose Mitch for such a long period of time, because I've said all along that he's a wonderful talent and someone I love having around the group in all three forms of the game, in my opinion. I think it could have a good impact, to be honest. It gives him some time away from the game to clear his head and get himself fit and strong and get back. I think injuries in the past that I've seen with a few of our players, that time off has helped them come back bigger and better. I think Warnie's a great example after he had his shoulder operation. He had a broken finger as well. I think he come back bigger and better. So, look, I don't see it as that big a deal to be Mitch. For Mitch. It's disappointing on behalf of the team that he's not going to be around and available for selection. But in regards to his own individual career, I see no reason why he can't get back to his best, if not better, after the operation.
Michael, it's just obviously the start of a new era in Australian cricket with this game. What do you think is going to be the theme of your captaincy and of the era that you've set out to charge?
I've been hearing it's the start of a new era for 8 months now, so to me it'll be no different. My captaincy will be no different as to what it's been since I've taken over the Bangladesh One Day Tour. My goal is to try and win every game we play, no matter what form of the game it is. At times, the way I captain, I like to be attacking and positive, but there's times throughout a game that you've got to pull the reins in. So I'm going to continue to try and do that to the best of my ability. I think I've got to use the talent we have around the group in regards to our bowlers and our batting as well. I think we've got a really good mix here of youth and experience, and the experienced guys will need to stand up, me included, and make sure we lead from the front. And then the advice of some of the senior players is going to be very helpful throughout this Australian summer, as it has been already in my brief captaincy stint. So I'm looking forward to starting the summer. I'd love to get off to a fly with a win against the Kiwis and continue this momentum that we've been building since Sri Lanka or since Bangladesh to keep going throughout the summer. My impressions of Doug or the team? Yeah, look, I don't focus too much on the coaches, to be honest. We've had a good look at the New Zealand players. I've been lucky enough to play against them a few times. They're got some really talented individual players. They're obviously flying high in confidence. They scored plenty of runs in the Australia A game recently at Allan Border Field. So, I've said all along, we have to be at our best to beat them. I think they're going to be really fired up for a big series, and come tomorrow, I give you my word that this Australian team will be 100% ready to go, and we're looking forward to a good challenge. I haven't seen much at all, to be honest. Like I said, I've been more focused on their players. That's what's relevant to me.
Michael, how much have you been able to get a handle on the roles that the young wicks can play in terms of their attributes and how they complement each other? Because obviously in the balance of an attack, not everyone can run in and just bowl fast. Thinking about it?
Yep, definitely, and that's that's something that we had to think about as a selection panel as well, making sure we got guys. Obviously, without Watto, we lose his bowling. So, the bowlers have got a big job to do. They're all got their individual roles, and like I've said before, I don't expect them to do anything more than what they've done for their states. They, the key to having success in these conditions against good opposition is discipline, in my opinion, execution and discipline. So we, as an attack, need to have that. As a batting unit, exactly the same. If our shot selection is not spot on, if we're not disciplined, we've seen in the past what can happen. So like I said, our training, our preparation's been outstanding over the last couple of days, and I'm confident that we will have the discipline throughout this Test match to win the game.
Michael, why do you think Australia's got such a kind of record at Gabba and they've been for 23 years? The second to that question is, while New Zealand's still going to run down how long it's here, what could be different?
No, not at all. I think you just answered your own question, Ben, to be honest. I think the reason we've had so much success is because we know the conditions and we know how different the Gabba is to anywhere else in Australia. Times gone by, probably even before my time, the Gabba and the Wicket were the two standout wickets that had a lot of pace and a lot of bounce, but in my career it's more been the Gabba that consistently when we play here, it does have good pace, good bounce. It is quite a tough place to start your innings on as a batsman. But once you get in, it's a beautiful place to bat. So I think knowing the conditions, and that's such an important part of the senior players in our team. We've played a bit of cricket here, and it's important that we do give the youngsters as much knowledge as we possibly can. We're lucky in first-class cricket as well that you get to play on this wicket. So a lot of the boys have seen the conditions, and I think again throughout this Test match that'll play in our favour.
Just the second part of that question was,
Well, a lot of them have played here as well. So, but the wicket is no doubt the wicket's different to Allan Waterfield. We trained at AB Oval the day after we arrived here, and I went and had a look at the wicket they batted on there. Just the amount of grass, just by looking at the wicket, there's no comparison, let alone the pace and bounce you get out here compared to any other wicket in Australia. So, they've still got a lot of experienced players that have played here. So I think that'll help. They'll be able to, pass their knowledge on to a few of their younger blokes. But, yeah, I'm still confident that the amount of cricket we play up here is a good thing for Australian cricket.
Michael, is Mitchell's injuries a bigger carrot from his debutantes that there's a spot there for quite a long time if they can make the most of it?
No doubt it's an opportunity. It doesn't matter how you get your chance as a player, it's about trying to grab it with both hands. And I think all the guys available to make their debut are seeing it exactly like that. They're getting a chance to come in and be part of this great team and, hopefully build a career. I guess, like I said the other day, I made my debut through Damien Martin getting injured, and I was very good friends with Marto at the time, still am, but the last thing I wanted was for him to get injured. But if he doesn't get injured, I might not be sitting where I am today. So for these kids, it's about just making the most of your chance. Get hold of your opportunity, and you never know what the future holds.
Michael, how important is this series with some of Phil Hughes? I know he had that 88 in Joburg. Do you think he needs to be more consistent as an opener?
Look, I think Hughes has copped a bit of pressure since coming back into the team, to be honest, and he's performed pretty well. His record for a young player at 23, I think he turned 23 today, for a 23-year-old kid is better than anyone in first-class cricket. I think he's got 18 first-class hundreds, 3 Test hundreds in 10 or 12 Test matches. His record's as good as I've seen, any 3-year-old in the world, let alone in Australia. So I think he's copped a bit of, there's been a bit of talk because of his technique more than his actual performance. So, look, I'm really confident that Hughesy will continue to play well. I've said for a long time I think he has a bright future. I love the way he plays. I love the fact that he scores in different areas to a lot of people, and we've all got deficiencies in our technique. It's just at the moment Hughesy seems to be picked on. So hopefully he can continue making some big scores, and that'll go away.
Jim.
Michael, I realise on Monday you were adamant saying that Shane Watson, you've spoken to him and you wanted to be an opener. Later that night on a cricket show, he said that he was pretty much seemed resigned to the fact that he needed to move down the order as far as his bowling and his role in the team with bowling. When he does come back, have you got any further, anything more? Has that sort of moved on at all?
Let me confirm my quote that I did say that has been obviously misinterpreted. I said at the time that Watto and I spoke, it was best for the team that he opened the batting. When Watto's fit and available for selection, we'll work out what's best for the team and we'll make a plan from there. And Watto made it very clear the other night, because I heard what he said, that he loves opening the batting and has done in the past. Now we just need to work out what's best for the team and also Shane, and we'll make that decision.
Daniel.
I was just going to ask Michael about sorry, this gentleman's been waiting on.
Michael, Stephen Fleming made a name for himself as a good New Zealand captain. What can you read into Ross Taylor as New Zealand? Do you think he has the attributes to go with?
I probably haven't seen enough of Ross as a captain, to be honest, and it's probably not my place, being an inexperienced captain as well, but I think Ross is a wonderful player and has had a lot of success for New Zealand in all forms of the game, so he's going to be a big part of their future, and I wish him well. I hope he does have a lot of success.
So he's the type of guy that will lead from the front.
I think he can certainly perform on the field, no doubt. I think he has done. His record shows that he knows how to score runs. He knows how to score big runs. And we know as an opposition team we have to try and get him out early because he's an important player for the New Zealand team.
Last question. Kevin Mitchell's mystery wicket, if I can get back to that, he said it's 15 years since he developed it or whatever. But over the last many years now, finger spinners have struggled to really get much turn at Gabba. Have you spoken to Kevin about this particular one and whether he thinks it may turn a bit towards the end of the match?
Haven't spoken to him at all in regards to if the wicket will spin. I guess the experience I've had at the Gabba is a lot of spinners have had success with bounce more than spin, so I'm not really concerned too much in regards to how much the ball spins on this wicket. If there's bounce, and generally if there's seam, there's generally a bit of spin as well. So if a spinner plays in our team, I'm very confident he'll have success.
That's what I was asking, actually.